welcome to Murder and Mysteries with Megan. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm grateful for each and every one of you that are here today. On my channel, we talk about true crime, conspiracies, hauntings, and other types of mysteries. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell. That way you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. Also, if you do like this type of content, make sure to give this video a thumbs up because it lets me know if you'd like to see more like this in the future. Today's video, we are actually going to be talking about your most haunted experiences. I had a really great time putting all of this together because I got to read some of your experiences. Now, some of these that I will be telling today will be told anonymously, and they will all be told in a first-person point of view. So without further ado, let's get on with today's video. Now, these first few experiences were actually sent in by the same subscriber, so I'll be telling them to you in chronological order. When I was 4 years old, I lived in New Hampshire, and I had an invisible friend who I nicknamed Twig. Most kids that age, their friends were purple blobs or someone the same age and height as they were. Not many had specifics. Well, that wasn't the case with Twig. He was a French monk who was about middle-aged, and everyone was always surprised at all the details that I did have about him. He also spoke a language that I couldn't quite understand as a child. Looking back over the years, I've realized something. Twig was a ghost. I'm convinced. He was a middle-aged French monk who, when I moved from New Hampshire, he never followed me and I never saw him again. Would that be the case with an invisible friend? The next experience that I want to tell you about is this one. When I was around 19 years old, I met my best friend, and she's still my best friend to this day. In fact, we've been friends for almost 20 years now, and we still love hanging out. When we first met, she and her mother actually lived in her mother's childhood home. This is where her grandfather had also passed, although he hadn't passed on per se. He wasn't a mean ghost. In fact, he would basically just tease you while you were trying to sleep or hit something off of a shelf or a countertop nearby if you spoke about him too often. I used to sleep on the couch in the living room when I would spend the night over at my friend's house. She would either stay in her room or she would sleep on the floor next to me. On this one particular night, someone actually leaned over the couch and started tapping on it. Like someone either had a nervous tic or was trying to wake me up. I remember saying, "I'm not in the mood, Papa," and suddenly everything stopped. Nothing was looming over the couch anymore, and nothing hit it for the rest of the night. However, the biggest evidence that he was there and was a ghost was this. The same friend and I were trying to get to sleep after watching some Discovery Channel Bigfoot and other mysterious type of shows, and it was about 3 a.m. I looked over towards the TV and I saw a glowing white, adult-size, full-bodied apparition. I watched him for just a few minutes, standing over there, shifting back and forth, like someone who'd been standing for a while shifts to the opposite leg. Finally, I worked up the courage again to look at about 4 a.m. to see if he was still standing there, because I didn't dare go to sleep. When I looked over to see if he was still there, he was gone. But I remember at the time I was about 5'7", and I noted that the apparition was about the same height as I was. Next morning I told my friend all about it. When I told her how tall the apparition was that was standing over by the TV and the shelves, my friend flipped out saying, "Papa was 5'7". The final experience that this particular subscriber sent in was this. This next experience happened at my house. Sometimes people don't think it's true, but my house is haunted. Both my wife and I woke up one night to a little girl that was standing by our TV. When we both sat suddenly up in the bed, she disappeared. She was about 3 foot tall with long hair. Another night, I was sitting in the bathroom with my wife while she was taking a shower that evening. Suddenly, we both heard a small child talking out in the hallway. I went out to see if maybe my cousin and their children had come by, maybe to visit, and hadn't let me know. When I went out into the hallway, no one was there. No one, in fact, was at home except for just the two of us. No one else was there, and nothing could explain how both of us heard the voice of a small child. I have one more experience to tell y'all today before we end today's video. So this all happened a few years ago. My grandmother had died a few days before the incident. It was pretty tragic for me and my whole family. I myself was very close to her, probably more than anyone else was. One night I was playing video games late into the night in my bedroom. It was all going well until I heard the sound of the whistling wind. I first assumed that it was just a window that had been opened, but I checked everywhere and there was nothing. After a few more minutes, I continued playing my video games. This time I heard a loud slam, as if it was a door slamming. It was very loud, and of course I shrieked out of fear. For the next hour I was in my bed under the sheets. Nothing happened again until the death anniversary of my grandmother came the next year. The same exact thing happened. The whistling wind and the sound of a door slamming. Every year on my grandmother's death anniversary, this would happen. I would experience the same things at exactly the same time. This year, it was a little different. I was planning to go outside somewhere this day to avoid the whole experience. So I went on vacation and I booked a hotel. Just to note, this was only about a month ago. I was in my hotel room and it was 12:42 in the night, the usual time when I experienced the noise back at home. Only this time I wasn't afraid because this wasn't my house. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that I was in for a real treat. I was on my phone scrolling through Instagram and I suddenly hear a creak at my door. I didn't think much of it, but after a few seconds, my phone screen turned fully dark red. At this point, I am freaking out. Instead of a door slam or a whistling sound, I hear a voice. It was faint, but it was recognizable. It said, "I love you." Then the voice faded off into existence. For a whole minute, I was frozen, unable to process what I had just witnessed. The next morning, I ran to my mom and I told her all about it. Obviously, she never believed me, but this is something that I will never forget. Oh my goodness, those stories were absolutely incredible. I have never myself experienced a full-bodied apparition or doors slamming or hearing voices. I've heard singing, but I've never actually heard someone speak to me or seen a full-bodied apparition. And I can't imagine how terrifying that must have been in the moment. But at the same time, maybe a little bit of comfort was taken knowing that it was your grandmother saying, "I love you." Well, everyone, that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed sharing your most haunted experiences. Of course, if you would like to share more of these and see more in the future, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and email me your haunted experience at megansmurdermysteries@gmail.com. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe week. And until next time, my mystery lovers, bye.